So I find myself feeling like today was the worst day of my life, which doesn't really make any sense. Like, I think I've got kind of an official tally of like what days I would consider the worst days in terms of like what happened to me or how I felt. And like today doesn't really remotely get on that list. Like, nothing really happened. But like, um, So, for the past 4 years in California, we've had wildfires every fall and sort of end of summer. And even though in San Francisco we haven't had fires, the air quality is affected. So, it affects the way that the sky looks. It usually looks orange or yellow, and it affects the way that light looks. Like, even if you don't look outside, you can see what the air quality is like from the way that the light shines through the window. Because when the air quality is bad, the light will be kind of orange instead of like normal sunlight color. And we are always told that when the air quality is really bad, you shouldn't go out and exercise. And if you have breathing problems or older, you like definitely should avoid going out. And I think over the 4 years that this has been going on, it's becoming kind of more and more normalized, which I guess is the case with everything. Like, the first year, it was really upsetting and disturbing. And I hope that when I say this, it doesn't sound as if I'm like in any way comparing the experience of people who live in San Francisco to people who actually like have their homes destroyed because like there's actually a fire where they live. I mean, it's not remotely comparable. I'm just speaking to how it is here, which is certainly much better. Pretty much okay, but it's just kind of a freaky thing. I think it was something that made some aspects of COVID-19 feel a little bit more normal to people in San Francisco because I don't know, we were kind of used to this weird kind of dystopian thing happening every year, and it was kind of different, but there was a lot of mask wearing even back when it was just because of the smoke. Although the mask situation was really different because basically the kind of mask that you need to wear to protect yourself from smoke is like the opposite of what you need to protect people from COVID-19 because you're trying to protect stuff from getting in, whereas with COVID, you're trying to protect stuff from getting out. So, you know, this year I didn't wear any kind of like mask to protect myself because all my, you know, kind of COVID appropriate masks just wouldn't work to protect me, and I didn't have any masks that would do both, and I didn't want to wear two masks, which is what some people do. They'll wear like a mask to protect themselves, and then they'll wear like a cloth mask over it. I don't want to. I think I've been fairly lucky in that I've been pretty unaffected by the air quality, even before the public transit in San Francisco was restored enough that I didn't need to walk a long distance to work. I didn't get sick walking to work in the bad air quality. Um, the only day I think that I did get like really sick from the air quality was a couple of weeks ago, and it's kind of weird because San Francisco is so foggy that there's sometimes that I think it's not quite as obvious when the air quality is bad because like when it's bad, it kind of turns the sky yellow, and the sky kind of has this, I guess I would say, kind of like a matte quality where it just looks like it's kind of covered over with something. But sometimes, if it looks like that and it's also really foggy, you like don't see the smoke so much. You think that you're just seeing fog and that the sky just has that quality because of fog. So basically, there's this one day when I wasn't even walking that much. I just, you know, kind of did my normal walk to like the bus stop and whatever, but I got like really sick, and I thought like I didn't even think it was like a bad air quality day, but I guess it was just like the worst. I mean, the 900 different websites that everyone in San Francisco looks at every day said that it was like terrible air quality, but I wouldn't really have known. It didn't look as bad as it did sometimes. Whereas today it's not supposed to be the worst air quality. It's bad, but it's not severe. But so basically, I didn't sleep well. And like I've said on here, since I live in kind of like an underground basement room that only gets a little bit of light, I use like a fake sun lamp so that I can kind of wake up and feel more normal. And so because I wasn't sleeping well, I kind of sleepily like fumbled for the controls for my sun lamp, and I set it to not turn on the sun until like 10 o'clock, which is like the absolute latest that I could get up and be able to get to work. And as I like woke up with the sun lamp, I thought like, oh, I made some kind of mistake because it's like still the middle of the night. And like I looked out and it was completely dark outside. I mean, I can't see the sky because of how my window is situated, but like I normally can see like a little bit of light coming in, even though it doesn't, light the room, but I can see whether it's sunny outside. And it was completely dark, and this was at 10 o'clock in the morning. So I kind of fumbled for my phone and looked on the San Francisco Reddit, which is where I usually find out what horrible thing is happening. And it turned out that because of how the air quality is today, the entire sky was like dark just for the whole day. Yeah, there was no sunlight. It was extremely weird. So, I know that there's like been bad air quality in places that usually don't have it as much as we do. Like my friend in Colorado was saying that they were experiencing it and smelling it, and it was the first time that had happened for them. That was yesterday, and so then today we woke up and it was just like dark. So I got ready for work, but it was really, really hard to shake the feeling that it was the middle of the night. Like, it felt very similar to either like working a night shift, which I did when I was younger, or just kind of like, I don't know, having one of those weird days when you like don't feel well and you end up like sleeping all day and then like getting up at night and like going out to do something and like you just feel a little strange. I mean, it almost feels a little exciting, but it was just really weird because I just couldn't get myself to believe that it was daytime. So I went out and, like, you know, to get out of my apartment, I need to walk through the garage of the house. And, like, when I stepped into the garage, like, it was completely dark. I had to turn on the lights as if it was nighttime. And when I went outside, it was like, I don't know, it was sort of like the kind of light quality that you would expect like very, very early in the morning when it was just starting to get light out. Like the sky was orange and like, I don't know, everything was dark. Like people had their lights on in their houses, the buses had the lights on, and like, like looking down at the freeway and like the way that all the cars were going, like, it was like watching like a lot of cars like really, really early in the morning, but it was like 11 o'clock in the morning. So, sorry, this isn't really much of a video or a story, but it really made an impression on me. I think it's just like the last couple of years have been so kind of apocalyptic, you know, that's just true. In terms of my personal life quality or whatever, I would say the last few years have been some of the best of my life in terms of what's happened or how things have been going for me. But just the 2016 election was already very frightening, and the pandemic, has made life extremely weird, and I just feel like I'm going totally off the rails. Like it just feels like life is going so completely off the rails that you just can't rely on anything or ever feel safe again. So this morning, like going out to catch the bus and just like standing in this like dark street and having the bus come and have it be like all lit up like it was the middle of the night, and like getting on the bus, and then like, I mean, good for them or whatever, but people are like walking around hanging out and like going out to eat at outdoor restaurants, and like I just don't get it. Like there's just something so disturbing about being outside. um yeah, so I went to work because it was dark. We just kind of sat in the dark and like watched a movie because it was kind of the perfect weather to do that, because you don't even have to do the whole like, close all of the curtains and like put down blackout curtains so that you can have like a fake movie theater since you can't go to the movies anymore. Like, we just sort of had automatically a movie theater. But yeah, so that's what we did. That's actually my entire news. I know it probably seems kind of weird for me to say this was the worst day of my life. like I said, I can actually think of days when like bad things happen to me, but like I don't know. I think this was like one of the many sort of steps down into just like a complete hellish dystopian apocalypse like life has seemed to take in the last few years. Like I don't know, dude. Like I kind of feel it in my bones that like I'll never see like any of my friends again. I'll just like just stay in until the day I die and just like I just have this feeling that it's just like all over, and that like the idea of things ever remotely returning to normal, like sunlight, experiencing sky, like I think for a lot of people being able to go outside and enjoy nature was like you know the only thing people could enjoy during the pandemic, and like being able to do some social activities outside was you know a nice thing for people. And now it's like dangerous to go outside because of the air quality, and also because we've had like these brand new heat waves the last few years too. So we suddenly have to worry about that when it's usually so temperate here that we never really worried about it before. So there's all these ways that you can get sick if you go outside, but you can't socialize inside because then you'll get sick. And I don't know, today just like waking up, having it be dark in the middle of the day, like never having it be like lit, never having like sunlight and like normal outside light the whole day. I just like, I don't know. So I suspect it will be the same tomorrow. I'm really hoping that it's not. This actually wasn't like the worst air quality that we've had or anything. I don't know exactly what the combination of factors was that made it be like this today, that made it be like so different looking. But I hope tomorrow is different, but I kind of suspect that it's going to be the same. But yeah, I just can't believe this happened. My mind is blown, and I don't usually go back and watch my old videos. Maybe if they're about like media or something and I want to see what I thought, but I don't usually go back and watch like these videos. They're just kind of boring. But I like to think that I'm going to make this, and like someday like I or someone will watch this and be like, oh, but that was like a bad time that's actually over. Our life is like somewhat more back to normal now. It wasn't actually the end times, but at this point, like, do I really believe that it isn't, just the end of the world? I mean, no. Yeah, okay.